Hey guys, listen, in sales, there are peaks and there are valleys. Okay, there are moments where you're crushing it and you're at the top of the board and closing everybody. And then there are times when you're not and you're in a valley and you're stuck there. The key in sales is that you keep these peaks as long as possible and keep these valleys as short as possible. They're going to happen regardless, but you need to know how to get out of them. All right. I've spent the last 5 years all in sales. I've personally gone through dozens of extremely deep valleys and I had to figure out through trial and error how to get out of them. Since then, I've worked with hundreds of closers and I've coached them through their valleys and how they can get back on top on the board. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 4 biggest strategies that I use with anybody who's stuck in a slump to get them immediately out of it. And if you implement all of this stuff tomorrow, I can guarantee you that you're going to start making progress to get out of it, to get yourself back on the top of the board and get you crushing sales again. All right, so let's jump straight in. Before we can talk about the strategies, let's first understand what is a sales slump. Okay, what's actually happening that's causing you to not close anybody? Okay, here's the thing. Sales is at the core of it. It's all about a transfer of certainty, right? You know about your thing. Your prospect doesn't really know about it, and you need to transfer complete conviction to them before they give you their money. When you're closing every other person you're speaking to, your belief in what you're doing is at all-time highs, right? When every other person you speak to, you're closing, you're collecting a payment. You have conviction not only in what you're selling, but also in yourself and what you're doing, right? And what happens is as your conviction goes up, your sales go up and you enter an upward spiral. But this works the other way around as well, right? Even more so actually, because let's say you don't close a deal. Let's say it's a Monday, you don't close anything, right? Not a great start. Tuesday, same thing. You don't close anybody. You're trying your hardest. You're giving your full energy. Nothing's going your way. Wednesday comes around. You're halfway through the day and you still haven't closed anything. And you're starting to get frustrated. You're starting to ask yourself, hey, like what's going on here, right? Next week comes around and you've only closed 1 deal in 2 weeks. Now you're really starting to doubt yourself. Now you're starting to blame the leads. A bunch of thoughts are going through your head. And the thing is the last 20 people you spoke to, you closed 1 deal. It's like, you know, in the back of your mind that chances are you're not closing the next one. Your conviction goes down the drain and you're stuck in a slump, right? And this is why people struggle to get out of it, because when they're not seeing results, they're not able to tap into anything internally to get out of it. Okay. And in this video, and the 4 strategies that I'm going to share with you, I'm basically going to show you how you can reverse engineer that conviction so that no matter how deep of a slump that you're in, you can get your ass out of it. By the way, stick around for number 3. It's probably like the easiest step that you can take where you can like instantly change this thing, but I'm going to keep you waiting on that. Strategy number 1 is to completely detach from the sale. Listen, you haven't closed the deal in a week, in a month, in a year, whatever. The next call that you close, you're probably not going to close it either, right? Use that as like a source of comfort, right? Forget about the sale. Stop trying so hard to get a sale and focus on giving value first. The thing is, when you want the sale, when you're needy for it, like people can sense it. When you're deep in a slump, people feel it and they don't feel right doing business with you, right? So just completely forget about it. Start with value first. Okay, what you want to do is get your mindset right, and you want to put some good karma and good vibes into the universe, honestly. So the mindset shift is to hop on calls with these prospects and think in your head, okay, how can I share some value with this person? How can I potentially solve a small problem for them? Can I give them some information, some clarity that maybe they didn't have before, where they would be better off after they actually speak to me? Okay, this is going to make you feel really good about what you're doing. It's going to give you a little bit of a dopamine hit, I guess. And most importantly, you're going to feel like you're doing something good rather than just trying to squeeze money out of people. That's what's keeping you broke, right? Is that energy. Lead with value, help people, and money's going to come to you. Strategy number 2, it's to stack daily wins. Okay. The thing is, when it comes to this confidence and this conviction, if your entire self-identity is tied to how much money you are currently making, you're going to have a tough time in sales. Okay, you need to be able to tie your identity to other things, right? So what this means is stacking up daily wins outside of sales. Okay, what this means is waking up, setting an alarm for 6 a.m. and getting up out of your bed by 6:05, no matter what. You don't miss that, right? What that means is getting a workout in before most people even wake up. You know what that means is taking 30 minutes, an hour later on in the day to watch some valuable content, to read a book, to learn something new. The problem is and even I've experienced this personally, where I'm deep in a slump, and what I start doing, what I used to do then is like I would go smoke some weed, or I would go play a video game, or like I would do something that would comfort me. And this is what everybody does, right? But the thing is like that's loser behavior, you know? If I want to hack that conviction and I want to get this upward spiral working in my favor, I want to stack up daily wins that tell myself, hey, like I'm winning, I'm on top, I'm doing the things that top performers do, right? This is going to add to your conviction. So something I used to do all the time, whenever I hit a slump, okay, cool. Let me dial in. Let me go hard with my workout. Let me make sure everything else is optimized in my life life. That way, when I'm in sales, I'm at peak performance, right? And if you're doing all of these things, you're going to develop the self-identity of a winner. That conviction is going to translate onto your calls. People naturally are just going to want to do business with you. Strategy number 3, this is how you can tap instantly back into a hot streak, no matter how deep your cold streak actually is. Let me tell you a little story. I had a closer who was working with us. He was in his early 20s. His name was Arian, and he was a solid closer. There were months where he was out closing guys much older than him, much more experienced than him. The thing is, you know, he would have really high highs and then he would have really deep lows, and he would get stuck in a low for a long time. I remember there was a point where it was maybe 1 or 2 months that he was really struggling. He wasn't able to get back into his groove. What I did with him, I'm like, hey, Arian, okay, let's have a seat for a second. I'm like, I want you to go find a call recording right now from 2 months ago when you were hot. We're going to listen to it. We pulled up a call recording of an $8,000 deal paid in full. We listened to it in full. We're like, okay, cool, nice. We load up another call recording. I'm like, Arian, give me a call recording of a call that you took earlier this morning, right? And it's like instantly in the first 10 seconds, I paused the recording and it was so obvious what the difference was. Like when you compare those two, when you look at yourself winning at your highest self, closing deals, and when you compare yourself to your lowest self, instantly you see the differences in the tonality, in the energy, in the enthusiasm that was on the call. And this was the biggest difference for Arian in that moment, right? It was literally the enthusiasm and the excitement to get on the conversation, right? In one case, he was enthusiastic and he was confident at the start of the call. And the other case is he sounded depressed and monotone. And just like seeing it, he was like, wow, like that's crazy. I knew I wasn't doing things the right way, but like, I didn't know it was that bad. And I'm like, yeah, like, do you know what adjustment you need to make? And he's like, yes, I'm just going to go do exactly what I was doing 3 months ago that I forgot how to do. I'm just going to go replicate that, right? Within like 2 hours before lunch that day, he closed another sale. A month later, he's back on top of the board. But a lot of the times it can be something so simple like that. Just listening to a call recording from a couple months ago of you winning when you're on top and you're like, oh shit, that was working for me. Let me just keep doing it. 1, make sure your calls are being recorded if they're not, so that you can do this. And 2, listen to yourself winning. Listen to yourself crushing it and closing deals and collecting revenue, and you're going to be able to pull that version of yourself back into the present. Strategy number 4 is to focus on the inputs, not the outputs. Okay, listen, sure, okay, you're having a bad month, that's fine. Just forget about the money that you're making, forget about the sales that you're putting up. I want your only focus and your only priority to be the amount of inputs that you put in, right? Whenever I have a new rep coming in, maybe their skill set isn't all the way there yet, I'm not gonna fill their mind up with 1,000 different things that they need to improve on. What I'm gonna tell them is, hey, focus 100% of your energy on the input. Make your goal to do 100 dials today. Make your goal to offer your service or your program to at least 10 people. And if you hit those goals consistently, I promise you the outputs will come. What do you know? They come every single time, right? But the problem is people get really wrapped up on the outputs and they don't actually focus on the work in front of them, right? Ask yourself, okay, if you have a goal, if you have a target, if there's an amount of commissions that you want to be bringing in every month, ask yourself, how many dials would I have to make for it to be physically impossible for me to not hit that goal, right? If for example, for every 100 people that you call, you close 1 deal, right? Let's say you speak to 10 and you close 1 and you make a $1,000 commission on that sale. Okay, cool. So what that means is you need to call probably 2, 3, 400 people every single day. Forget about the output, focus on the input, whether that's the amount of dials that you make, the amount of offers that you actually have, right? Reaching out to people in the pipeline and, sending text messages, giving them a call, right? Focus on the inputs that are in front of you and trust that in the long run, the outputs will come. All right, guys, that's it. Okay, 4 strategies, very simple. This isn't rocket science. I will promise you this. I've been in sales for a long time now, and I've been personally in some slumps, especially earlier on in my career, where it's like you're deep in it and you're like, man, like, is this it? Like, am I just not that good? Was I getting lucky for the last 6 months? Like, is it ever going to get better? Am I just going to have to get used to this? Those thoughts go through your brain, right? You think, man, is this for me? Like, is sales really what I need to be doing? I promise you, every single time that I've had those thoughts and I've been in a deep slump and I've been stuck in it and I had no idea how I was going to get out of it. Every single time I've gotten out of it. Every single time things started going my way because I followed some of the things that I shared with you in this video. Okay, so 4 strategies. 1, okay, is forget about the sale and focus on giving value. Detach from the sale and give. 2 is going to be to stack those daily wins. Set at least 2 to 3 non-negotiables every single day into your routine. Gym, wake up time, reading, diet, drinking more water, whatever it might be. Maybe you need to cut something out of your routine that you're doing every single day that's holding you back, right? Come up with 2 to 3 non-negotiables, implement them. Number 3, compare your call recordings to when you were winning to when you were losing and make the adjustment that you see that's different between the two. And finally is focus on your inputs. Make your goal the input and the work that's in front of you, and the outputs will come. Listen, bro, you got this. Okay, keep your head up. Guys, sales is the best profession in the world. Okay, the fact that we have complete uncapped earning potential. Okay, we're able to put in more work, get better, and get paid in direct proportion to that. Okay, it gives you the power. If you need 10 grand one month, if you got a vacation planned, if you want to propose to your girlfriend and you want a big ass diamond ring, you can go hard for 1 week and go and make the money to do that. Okay, you can't do that in any other profession. All right, but with that comes certain lows. You know, you got to be willing to have a bad week, have a bad month, go through a little bit of the discomfort. But at the end of the day, you got to understand that sales is very forgiving. Okay, you get what you give. If you put in the work, if you have a genuine love for the game, you will get it back. That's all for today's video. Drop a comment down below if you got some value, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.